Yahweh, in the name of his only begotten Son, whose true name in Hebrew is Yahweh Shai, and the Holy Spirit, which is the Ruach Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles by the Holy Spirit, who taught us his truth. Honors to the brothers, making their bodies a living sacrifice to push the gospel, risking their life and freedom to do so. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, which will be 1/3 of the Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians who make up the children of Israel that are going to receive salvation. 1/3 of our people will receive salvation. So we're back with another lesson through the power and spirit of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. This is going to be Remember the Help from Heaven, number 13. And it's going to be titled, I have commanded the ravens to feed thee. Or I may just title it, Commanded the Ravens to Feed Thee. And we're going to explain as we get into the middle of the lesson. But we're going to start off with the usual, Romans 15:4. And again, this lesson, or these series of lessons that I'm doing, and really the ministry in its entirety, is to help our people remember what the Lord did for us in the past, and to expect that and even more as prophecy wraps up. Romans 15:4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we, through patience in the comfort of the scriptures, might have hope. So the things written in the past, everything in the scriptures, that was written for us to learn about in the future, meaning right now. And the things written that we are now learning about would give us comfort and hope. Because we coming into a time that there is no comfort or is no hope for anybody that's outside of the elect whom the Lord destined for salvation. And the thing is, you got to know what to hope in. If your hope don't lie in the scriptures, if your hope don't lie in the will of the Lord, that's void hope. You're going to be left out there. So you got to hope in the right thing. And not only that, the scriptures, they expose you to the limitless power of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shah. And in the times that we're coming into, you got to think outside the box. And the thing is, this is going to be the darkest time in all of creation. So pretty much expect the unexpected for the evils that's coming. But also expect the unexpected for the help that the Lord is about to bring to his elect. All right, so we will continue. Because going into this time of Jacob's trouble, the great tribulation, the time of trouble such as never was, it's going to be hell on earth. And especially here in America. So we're going to hit Luke 21:20. And when you shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. So this is not talking about the land of Jerusalem, but the people of Jerusalem here in America, which is Babylon, the place where the bulk of Bible prophecy will take place. So in the people of Jerusalem, Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians, were we mainly kept in the inner cities, the ghettos, the reservations. Compass means to be surrounded. So how are the Lord's people in these inner cities going to be surrounded with armies? Through martial law, a military lockdown of America, of UN troops, foreign troops from all over the earth, killer drones, mechanical dogs, Tesla bots, all kinds of AI technology and robotics locking this place down. Then let them which are in Judea. Judea is a city, the city where the Lord's people dwell. But this is talking about here in America. Anywhere where the Lord's people are, we Jerusalem, we Judea. Mainly in the inner cities, flee to the mountains. In other words, flee to the wilderness. leave the cities, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, in the midst of Judea, in the midst of these major cities, which we see what's going on right now with gang violence, the illegal immigrants, the squatters, the Venezuelan gangs. The inner cities gonna be death zones, so depart out of it, and let not them that are in the countries enter therein too. So if you outside of the city, don't return back to the city for nothing. That's what that is saying. So yeah, don't turn back to the city for nobody or nothing if you outside the city. Don't look back, don't turn back. So you're gonna be faced with the sword, and people are gonna escape mainly by fleeing the cities. And that's what the Lord's elect are gonna do. A good portion of us gonna flee the cities and be delivered there. But the thing is, not everybody that flee the cities is going to be delivered. So keep that in mind. But Jerusalem or these inner cities being locked down, that's to keep people trapped inside the city. Also, that's to prevent any help, any food or water from coming into the city. So when we hit Isaiah 3 and 1, for behold, the Lord of hosts doth take away from Jerusalem the Lord's people, but not just the Lord's people, all of the earth. He does take away from Jerusalem and from Judah and everybody else the stay and the staff, the whole stay of bread and the whole stay of water. And then when you read that in the NLT, Isaiah 3 and 1, it reads, the Lord Yahweh, heaven's armies, will take away from Jerusalem and from Judah everything they depend on, every bit of bread and every drop of water. And how is the Lord going to take this away? Through Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. This famine that we coming into, it's a man-made famine. That's why they killing the livestock. That's why they talking about the avian bird flu. That's why all these food processing facilities being destroyed. That's why you're having all kind of toxic chemical leaks. That's to cut off the food and water supply. When we come to the book of Isaiah 65 and 14, therefore thus says the Lord Yahweh, behold, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but you shall be ashamed. So despite the cities being locked down, the Lord said his servants are going to eat. And that's all we must know. How we going to eat is none of our concern. Just know that we are. So we need to remember the acts of mercy that the Lord performed for our ancestors, and know that the Lord is going to perform those same acts of mercy and even more, because it's going to be a time of trouble such as never seen. So what? The Lord is going to pop up on the scene and help us more than he's ever helped us before to keep us out of these troubles. So the aid, the help can come in many shapes and forms. So we're going to hit a little story in the book of First Kings, chapter 17. So check this out. And Elijah, the Tishbite, who was of the inhabitants of Gilead, said unto Ahab, as the Lord Yahweh liveth, of Israel liveth, before whom I stand, there shall not be dew nor rain these years, but according to my word. So what's the setting here? It was a famine. And we're coming into the days that there's going to be a man-made famine. Plus the cities being locked down. Plus nobody able to escape. And everybody do escape, they're going to be hunted. So no food, no water, with the sword after you. But again, the setting is going to be a famine, just like it is 1 Kings 17. Now let's see what happened. And the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, get thee hence, and turn thee eastward, and hide thyself by the brook Cherith, that is before Jordan. And it shall be, and again the Lord said, hide thyself. And that's why what? Luke 21 and 20, it said, those who be in Judea flee to the mountains. If you in the countries, meaning outside of the city, don't return to the city, but hide. Hey, and the elect, the Lord is gonna hide his elect, throughout the earth. But hide thyself by the brook Cherith that is before Jordan, and it shall be that thou shalt drink of the brook, as I have commanded. Thou shalt drink of the brook, and I have commanded the ravens to feed thee there. So yeah, the Lord is going to command ravens to feed his elect, just like they fed Elijah. So he went and did according to the word of the Lord, for he went and dwelt by the brook Cherith that is before Jordan. And the ravens brought him bread and flesh in the morning, and bread and flesh in the evening, and he drank of the brook. So the things written aforetime was written for our learning. The Lord sent ravens to feed Elijah. Before, the Lord can send ravens to feed his elect here in his lifetime. And Elijah wasn't under the sort of troubles that we about to go into. So the Lord fed his men with ravens for lesser reasons. So if the elect about to be in a more sense of danger, want the Lord send the ravens again. And this is part of that help from heaven. But the thing is, people don't know, they don't understand how intelligent ravens are. And not just ravens, but birds in general. So we got a few videos that we're going to play to show the intelligence of ravens and why the Lord sent ravens to feed Elijah day and night. Check this out.
So ravens are excellent at mimicking sounds they hear. Mischief, can you say hello?
Hello.
Good bird. He does all sorts of voices. Can you say hi?
Hi.
Good job. And sometimes he hears people who have a cold. Good job, Mischief. Can you say hello? No. Hello. He's all excited. Hi.
Hi.
Good boy. Hello.
Hi. Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
All right, we got a few more videos.
Молодец. Теперь мы сделаем вот что. Затычку сюда. Вот так. Мяско сюда. Вот оно. И игрушка сюда. Уже прибежал. Да ты молодец. Вообще сходу.
Collects money and puts it into this guy's drawer. He trained the bird to find random money that has fallen onto the street and then fly back into his apartment building, have the bird itself open the drawer and put the money into the drawer.
Last one. So the point, ravens are super intelligent, and Esau science say that ravens can be as smart as a 7-year-old. They can do basic math, problem solve, puzzles. But we saw here they bring Elijah food, bread and meat, morning and evening. So when we go back to the book of Second Maccabees, chapter 15, verse 7, he's going to hit verse 8. Wherefore he exhorted his people not to fear the coming of the heathen against them, but to remember the help which in former times they had received from heaven, and now to expect the victory and aid which shall come unto them from the Almighty. So remember in the famine how the Lord sent ravens to feed Elijah, bread and meat, morning and at night, for who knows how many days. Remember that. When you flee the cities, not able to take nothing with you, not knowing how you gonna eat, how you gonna drink, because you in a man-made famine, and everything in the wildlife is polluted and toxic. There's nothing for the Lord to send ravens to you. But see, Esau shutting down the cities, people, we're not gonna be able to bring food to one another. but Esau never considered a raven. Imagine a raven bring you a bag of chips, bring you a grocery bag full of chicken. Then you saw the raven would find money on the ground and bring it back to his owner. And birds are notorious for stealing people's food. So the Lord can have, a swarm of ravens to bring all kind of food to feed his elect, wherever they may be. And because one thing to keep in mind is Isaiah 65:13. Behold, my servants shall eat, but you shall be hungry. Behold, my servants shall drink, but you shall be thirsty. When the Lord said his servants gonna eat, that meant just that. Even though the Lord is going to take away the supply of food and water through Esau, even though it's going to be a man-made famine, even though it's not going to be no food in sight, the servants of the Lord are going to eat. So back to 2 Maccabees 15:8. But to remember the help which in former times they had received from heaven, and now to expect the victory and the aid. So expect ravens and other birds and even other animals to come through for us and bring us food, water, protection, whatever it may be. And not to mention parrots, ravens, birds can talk. They can mimic and they can repeat, and they got a good memory. So just imagine a raven pull up on you and say, Shalom, follow me. Now you following the raven, to safety, to food and water. Imagine a raven pull up on you with a set of instructions. Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai said, go here, do this and do that. Nothing is off limits to the Lord. Anything is possible. So also too, when we hit the book of Job, chapter 5:23, for thou shalt be in league with the sons of the field, and the beasts of the field shall be at peace with thee. So the wildlife, the animals, gonna be at peace with us, while everybody else getting attacked and harassed and put to death by the wildlife. The wildlife is gonna benefit us, the elect. Lord willing, we part of that. And that's not just something as simple as a grizzly bear walking past you and not bothering you. That could come by grizzly bears and other animals protecting us. That could come by grizzly bears and even ravens bringing us food. We know bears are excellent at finding food. So imagine you come across a bear, it put them to death, but the bear leads you to some food. Or it have you follow a raven. Also, too, when we get the book of Ecclesiasticus, also known as Sirach, chapter 39, verse 28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of their destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made him. That's simple. The Lord got spirits, people, animals alike to execute judgment. Verse 31, they shall rejoice in his commandment, and they shall be ready upon the earth when need is. And when their time is come, they shall not transgress his word. So the spirits of vengeance are already here in the earth, ready to go. But it's a flip side to that. You know, just like there be spirits created for vengeance, Lord got spirits that's created to help his elect. Like in the case of this lesson, we dealing with the ravens. And let's just read it again. This is 1 Kings 17. And this is going to be verse 4. And it shall be that thou shalt drink of the brook, and I have commanded the ravens to feed thee there. So he went and did according to the word of the Lord, for he went and dwelt by the brook Cherith, that is before Jordan. And the ravens brought him bread and flesh in the morning, and bread and flesh in the evening, and he drank of the brook. So this wasn't a spirit of vengeance, this was a spirit of help. And the elect is going to need major help going through Jacob's trouble. And the Lord got us. So there's like there be spirits created for vengeance. For the elect's sake, Lord, when we part of that, it's going to be spirits that's created to help us. And instead of executing judgment on us, they're going to be preserving us. Through the Lord's right hand, Yahweh Shai. Whether it's leading us to water, leading us to shelter, to hide, leading us to food. Who knows? And then going down to verse 31, they shall rejoice in his commandment. So just like the spirits of vengeance rejoice at the Lord's commandment, the spirits of help, they're going to rejoice at the Lord's commandment. They're going to gladly help us because we're going to be at peace with the beasts of the field, and they shall be ready upon the earth. So whatever animals, whatever wildlife, whatever people, whatever spirits of help that the Lord got out there to help his elect, it's already upon the earth when they need it. But they just waiting on the Lord to give the commandment, to give the word. And they not going to transgress. It's not like the Lord going to talk to a raven and the raven going to be like, I don't feel like it today, Lord. Or Lord, I think about it. And animals can play dumb. They'll do something 1 minute, then they act like they don't know what you're talking about the next minute. It's going to be none of that. They're going to do exactly as the Lord command. And they're going to rejoice at his commandment. And they're going to be ready. So when we hit the book of Ecclesiastes 1-10, is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? So when people see flocks and swarms of ravens or any other kind of animal feeding the Lord's elect, not once, not twice, but day and night, for days, for weeks, for months, that's going to be new to them. But again, is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? And the answer to that question, no, that's not new. The Lord been using the wildlife and animals to feed his believers. It have been already of old time. We just read about it in the book of 1 Kings chapter 17, which was before us. So that's going to be nothing new when the Lord commanded wildlife, animals that usually devour you, animals that usually harass you, they step in for the elect, protect us, help us, lead us to safety, food, water, bring us food and water. The Lord been operating like that, but he really about to show out everything that the Lord did in the past. He about to show out with it in his lifetime. The things we read about in the past, recorded in the scriptures, that was just a small glimpse on what the Lord gonna do for us. So in the case with Elijah and the ravens brought him bread and flesh in the morning and in the evening. But that was only one person. The Lord about to perform this same act for millions and millions of his believers. So the Lord ain't gonna just call on a certain number of ravens. It's gonna be all ravens, all animals, all wildlife. Not to mention, food coming from the chariots, and that's a whole nother lesson. So yeah, when we at peace with the beasts of the field and you see ravens and other animals bringing us food, it's nothing new. It happened in the ancient world. But that's why the things written aforetime was written for our learning. In the famine, when people running from the sword, they not going to consider asking the Lord to send a raven to bring me food, to lead me to water, to lead me to safety. They're not going to consider or even think about praying to the Lord, that the animals may help us. They just going to die looking for food, not knowing the Lord can bring the food right to you. They're not going to consider that. And that's the importance of these accounts in the scriptures. They open up your mind to the possibilities of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah. So we're going to play this one more time and we're going to close out.
Ravens are excellent at mimicking sounds they hear. Mischief, can you say hello?
Hello.
Good bird. He does all sorts of voices. Can you say hi?
Hi.
Good job. And sometimes he hears people who have a cold. Good job, Mischief.
Collects money and puts it into this guy's drawer. He trained the bird to find random money that has fallen onto the street and then fly back into his apartment building. Have the bird itself open the drawer and put the money into the drawer.
Молодец. Теперь мы сделаем вот что. Затычку сюда. Вот так. Мяско. Сюда. Вот оно. И игрушку сюда. Уже прибежал. Да ты молодец. Вообще сходу.
All right, until next time, Shalom.